I used to believe I'd already reached the lowest point a man could reach. That night, sitting alone with a half-empty drink and my thoughts for company, I thought there was nowhere left to fall. I was wrong. The knock on the door came hard and confident, the kind that assumes it will be answered. When I opened it, a stranger stood there, Ryan. Broad shoulders, smug grin, the posture of someone who thought strength was something you showed off. Behind him was my wife, Elise. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Her gaze flicked between us, heavy with fear and regret. "So you're the guy," he said, looking me up and down like I was an inconvenience. I leaned against the doorframe. "Depends. Who's asking?" "I'm here to tell you to stop contacting her," he said calmly, like he was doing me a favor. A short laugh slipped out of me, sharp and humorless. "That's impressive," I said. "Considering she's still married to me." Ryan stepped closer. "Not for long." Elise said nothing. That silence hit harder than any insult. My jaw tightened, and I felt something inside me finally go still. "You've made your decision," I said quietly. "So take it and live with it." That should have been the end. It wasn't. Ryan puffed out his chest. "You don't get to talk like that. Maybe you need to be reminded where you stand." Elise grabbed his arm. "Ryan, please. Don't." He shook her off without even looking at her. His attention was fixed on me, waiting for fear. He didn't find it. I straightened slowly, my movements unhurried. "You sure you want to keep going?" "Yes." He scoffed. "What are you going to do? You look like you sit behind a desk all day." I smiled then, not out of confidence but something colder. "I used to serve in special operations," I said evenly. "I walked away from that life because I wanted peace. But don't mistake that for weakness." The color drained from his face. Elise inhaled sharply. She hadn't known. That part of my life had stayed buried, along with the memories, the scars, and the discipline that never really leaves you. Ryan tried to laugh, but it came out thin. "Yeah, right. I'm not fighting over her anymore," I continued. "But if you're looking for a lesson, you picked the wrong teacher." He hesitated. The bravado cracked. Without another word, he turned and walked away. Elise followed, pausing just long enough to look back. Guilt flickered across her face before the door closed behind them. The quiet that followed felt enormous. I stood there, surrounded by furniture, photos, and years that suddenly meant nothing. I didn't shout. I didn't break anything. I just sat down and let the truth settle in. The next morning, I folded her clothes carefully and placed them by the door. On top, I left my wedding ring. She didn't return for days. When she finally did, it was only to collect what was left. No explanations. No apologies. Just the sound of a suitcase zipper sealing the end of our life together. Time moved forward whether I wanted it to or not. I rebuilt myself piece by piece. I trained again, ran until my lungs burned, learned how to sit with my thoughts instead of drowning in them. Therapy helped. Discipline helped more. Eventually, I started a private security firm, turning old skills into something constructive. For the first time in a long while, I felt grounded. Then one evening, a message appeared on my phone from a number I didn't recognize. "It's Elise. Please, can we talk?" I stared at it for a long time before replying. What could possibly be left to say? She insisted it was important. Against my instincts, I agreed. When she arrived, she looked different. Tired. Smaller somehow. The confidence she once wore so easily was gone. She sat across from me, hands twisting nervously. "He changed," she said. "After that night. He became jealous, controlling. Angry all the time." I listened without interrupting. Her voice broke. "He blamed you. Said you embarrassed him. And then one night, he hit me." I felt a knot tighten in my chest. Not anger toward him, but sorrow for her and the road she'd chosen. "I was wrong," she whispered. "About everything. You were good to me." I exhaled slowly. "You didn't just lose a marriage," I said. "You lost someone who would have protected you without hesitation." She reached for my hand. I gently pulled away. "I forgave you a long time ago," I said. But forgiveness doesn't mean returning to what broke you. She nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. After a while, she looked at me and said softly, "You seem at peace." "I am," I answered. A week later, her sister called to tell me Elise had entered a recovery program, trying to rebuild her life. Hearing that brought a strange mix of emotions: sadness, relief, and something like closure. Sometimes when I run at night beneath quiet streetlights, I think about the man I used to be, the one who thought love meant enduring pain at any cost. I wish I could tell him that walking away isn't failure. Sometimes it's the strongest choice you can make. She broke me once, but what I became afterward was stronger, clearer, and more honest than the man she left behind. And for all the hurt, I'm grateful. Because not every victory comes from standing your ground. Some come from knowing when to let go and keep moving forward.